Hey friends, how are you? Thanks for stopping by for today's video. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for clicking on the video. My name is Kat. As you can tell by the title of my channel, I talk about the romance novels that I read here on my channel, and I'm so thankful to have you stopping by. Today's video is on the book Resist Me by KL Shandwick. It's the second book in, how do I explain this? KL Shandwick has written many books. She's got quite a backlist, but I was introduced to her with her Dare duet, which is Dare You and Dare Me. That Dare You was the first book of hers that I have read. I absolutely adored it. So I read those two, and now this is the second duet. It's part of a greater series, which is the Unchained Attraction series, I think. I will put that in the video description so you'll know the exact name of the series. But this is the second duet. I did a video on Dare You and Dare Me, and then I did a video a few weeks ago on Resist You, and now here is Resist Me, the second part to it. That sounded kind of confusing. Go ahead and look her up. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Resist Me picks up where Resist You left off. I was so excited to get back into it because we leave on kind of a cliffhanger. I was so anxious to see what was going to happen. So keep in mind, if you watch the video and you haven't read the previous book or watched the previous video, you might get some spoilers. It's never my intention, but just consider that if you keep watching. Resist Me is told from Tricia's perspective. Resist You was James's perspective. I was anxious to get Tricia's perspective. She was a character that I really liked and was excited to hear more about. Very different than me personally. I connected a little bit more with Billy, which is the Dare duet, but yet Tricia is around my age, slightly younger, but still a mature woman in a love story with a mature man. James is about the same, they're both about the same age, and I really liked that about their story. There's a maturity to the way that they interact with each other and how they look at life and where they are in life, and I connected to that very easily. We pick up and Tricia has just found out and been able to put a name and a face to the child that she was forced to give up for adoption when she found herself pregnant at 16. This whole storyline has really touched my heart. Adoption is very personal to me, and I was really anxious to see how it was going to turn out for Tricia. And there's a lot of drama and familial drama surrounding that adoption. She's feeling very betrayed and has a very strained relationship with her mother. And yet here she was able to find something that she's dreamed about in finding her daughter and being able to meet her daughter. It was very emotional. Like I mentioned, the book is from Tricia's perspective, and when she said this, she just hit the nail on the head. When something traumatic happens, one can either be consumed or learn to live alongside the event that caused the trauma. Personally, with my strong character, I'd have fought against being overwhelmed, but I paid the price by putting stepping stones in place. Mistrust and self-loathing had shaped my resurrection from the frightened 16-year-old girl I'd been to an intimidating, independent woman on the surface, but a scared and broken little girl on the inside. And isn't that so true? If you have read any of these books, you know what Tricia is like. And to find herself at this point in her life with all of this upheaval of everything she's known and really everything she's gone through she's held inside until James, until she knew she had somebody to trust with everything, not only her heart, but her mind and her soul, her vulnerability. I was really impressed with how KL wrote all of this and how organically the story kept unfolding. I totally swooned over James in Resist You. Sawyer, I have been unapologetic in my love and adoration for Sawyer, like literally #1 book boyfriend. For those of us with book boyfriends and book husbands, you know what I mean when I say that. And James is Sawyer's brother. Let me tell you, the apple did not fall far from the brotherly tree. James is everything you want in a partner in general, but especially he loved her with her highs and her lows. He stood next to her, he supported her, he thought 2 steps ahead of her so that whichever way she turned, he was there for her. Oh my God, he's simply divine. And the best thing is Tricia is ready for him at that time in her life. Can't resist him anymore. They can't resist each other. And she knows how good she's got it with him, and this is what she says. I stopped walking and turned to look at him. James immediately held my gaze. The love and honesty that shone from them made my heart clench again at how patient and caring he'd been. My heart also skipped a beat from the crazy spark I'd felt in that small, intimate moment. He must have felt it too because his hand left mine and both arms wrapped around me. Have I mentioned how much I love you? I know now I was scared to love you because I couldn't bear to have this with you and worry about the possibility of losing you if you had found out about Aaron. Dipping his head close to mine, he brushed our noses intimately and smiled. Yet, my love, here we are, stronger than ever. At long last, you've met your beautiful daughter, and the sky never caved in. Love will get you through this, Tricia, and I'll be with you every step of the way. Turning me back, facing the direction we had been heading, he tucked me protectively into his side and led me home. We walked in silence, and I sensed that had been a conscious decision from the man who found conversation with me effortless. That said, he had always known when silences were necessary for me to gather my thoughts. He knows her. He is in tune with her. I loved it all. A lot of this book is those kind of swoony moments where James has completely stepped up to the plate and held her tender heart in his hands willingly and helped her get through some of the biggest challenges she's ever had in her whole life. And not that Tricia falls apart during these times, but there are some really emotional, heavy, life-altering things that happen, and she's dealing with betrayal and lies from one of the people who you're supposed to trust the most in the world. She's trying to navigate a new relationship with a grown child that she has and figure out who Aaron is as a woman. And like, can they be mother and daughter? And is that weird because Aaron's like 30, you know? And then also finding their footing as a couple, and she's never been in a relationship like this. She was dealing with a lot. The book takes a slight shift because the person that has caused the most drama in Tricia's life dies suddenly. And so she is left with these unanswered questions, the ability to ask questions, the ability to, search for answers, and it's taken away from her. And how that kind of plays a little bit of a mind trip on her, which I totally understood. And the fallout from that death is not just she died. There's other stuff comes to life about some of the decisions that this person made, and it's got ramifications throughout her whole family. That was all very, very interesting. As per usual, James is freaking amazing in how he handles and helps Tricia through all of that. Tricia's kind of wondering if she's worth it. She's feeling rather low after the death of this person, and Even though James has been amazing, she wonders, like, oh, am I too much? Do I have too much chaos around me? Will he want to stick around? Am I worth it? And of course, James is a freaking rock star. Oops, wait, wrong brother. I should say James is amazing. This is what he says. I'd rather a life full of drama with you in it than a carefree life without you. You say stuff that makes me swoon at times, James Wilde. Then I'm glad because you've dealt with some heavy shit for quite a while. Yeah, at times I feel like I'm in your way. Tricia, you are my way, and I'm delighted about that. A future without you would devastate me now. Damn, James, stop it. I used to think Sawyer was the romantic lover in your family, but I believe that gene has been split evenly between you. He chuckled. Nah, I can't write love songs or serenade you like my little brother can. I think you probably could if you tried, but you're more of a physical badass. He grinned wide. And it's funny that I just kind of screwed up the rock star thing, not realizing that that was the highlight I picked. Sawyer must be on my mind as well. We get to the point in the book where you can see Tricia start healing. I'm getting a little teary about it. It was really kind of emotional to start reading that, her coming through things and her being the amazing woman that she was before start to shine through again, because she has such a bright light. Total girl crush on her, quite frankly. And it was in those moments that made me swoony and feel like, oh my gosh, like total couple goals, you know? And I know I felt that way with Billy and Sawyer as well. So I loved seeing that and feeling that way about James and Tricia. 3 little things I want to mention made me feel extra freaking sappy and just so in love. One is, and when you read the book, you'll know what I'm talking about. One is sunflowers. But there's a moment between James and Tricia in a field of sunflowers. And the cinematic quality of that scene was superb. I got everything KL was trying to give us, and it was amazing. The second is a speech given by James's best friend, Josh. Seriously, like gold, absolute gold. And then the third is the song Make You Feel My Love by Adele. Oh my gosh, like that song. Isn't that song in the movie Hope Floats with Sandra Bullock? I think that might be the first time I heard that song. But when Adele sings that song, stop it. I'm such a fan of hers, man. She can bring me to tears with one note and one word. So I loved that it was in Tricia and James's story. Let me know if you have read any of the Unchained Attraction books. And I'm so excited that when I flip to the last page of this book, we already know that there's going to be another duet with characters from this book. Yay! Thank you for taking a second to hit the thumbs up button and consider subscribing. When you do that, it not only helps my channel, but it will help this video get more visibility on YouTube. I welcome you to come over to my social media, which is Kat Reads Romance on Facebook and Instagram. I know I say this at the end of every video, but I just want to remind you all. I would love for you to say hello to me over there. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.